Welcome to the Three Mouseketeers, the sibling podcast that understands your Disney addiction. I'm Jared.
I'm Amanda.
And I'm Emily.
This week we have a very fun episode. We're going to be talking about retheming some attractions within the Disney World properties, but first let's get into some news. It has been announced that Disney is going to be closing 3 attractions at Disney World. This is going to be Stitch's Great Escape, River of Lights, and Primeval Whirl. What do you guys think about that?
I'm not surprised. I mean, Stitch's Great Escape hasn't been running for, it seems like several years now. And Primeval Whirl was just a seasonal ride when it was really crowded. And most of the time it didn't seem like it was open either. The only one I'm really kind of surprised about was Rivers of Light. And I'm kind of disappointed I didn't get to see it.
I agree with that.
Me too. I also did not get to see Rivers of Light, and I'm kind of disappointed, but I heard mixed reviews about it anyway. Some people really liked it. Some people did not like it at all. But I'm a little bit sad about Stitch's Great Escape, not because I loved the ride by any means, but because we're losing Stitch.
But last time we went, that's where Stitch's meet and greet was.
Yeah, but I think it's disappointing that there's not an attraction.
I kind of agree with that, and I am kind of concerned that if Stitch's Great Escape is going away, maybe the Stitch meet and greet will go away as well.
I know. I am also worried about that.
Well, all the meet and greets have gone right now, but
That's fair.
I know what you mean. I did hear that they had plans to replace Stitch's Great Escape and Primeval Whirl. So I'm interested to know if they're still planning to replace those with something else, or if that's kind of been pushed off with all of the current, closures and everything.
Well, I did see as well that they were planning to replace the Stitch's Great Escape with something else. Obviously, it's not going to be anytime soon because of coronavirus, but I do think that they still have plans. Really, in all honesty, the whole carnival area in Animal Kingdom, I think, could be rethemed. So,
well, I would like it to stay like dinosaur themed because I think it's like the dinosaur fits well with Animal Kingdom, and I just like having a dinosaur theme, but I wish it was more like the actual ride dinosaur instead of a carnival, like play dinosaur sort of theme.
yeah, it just seems like kind of an overflow area.
Yeah, and I feel like Disney could have done such a cool dinosaur theme, and they didn't. They completely missed the mark.
Well, they have the Good Dinosaur now, so they could retheme that area to that movie.
Yeah. I've never even seen The Good Dinosaur.
It's pretty good.
But
What?
sure.
So, I mean, I guess this is kind of a bonus retheme.
I know. I mean, I wasn't planning to go there, but I do think it fits.
Yeah, it could fit. I don't know. Just that whole area, I kind of see where they might have been trying to take it with like the carnival theme, but I just don't think that it really fits very well. I don't know, because it kind of fits, but I don't. Like I said, it just seems like an overflow area where the games aren't always open. There's the Triceratops ride. I mean, rides that smaller kids can ride mostly, and then there's like the one Primeval Whirl. And usually at least one of the sides is closed.
Right. I think if they had a better draw over there, then it could have worked really well, but there was nothing really to draw people to that area.
Yeah. I got to be honest. I never really liked Primeval Whirl.
Me either. I'm not disappointed with that ride being closed.
I mean, it was a carnival ride, like a straight up. I think there's a ride at our local fair that's called like the Crazy Mouse. That's the exact same thing, just themed differently.
The exact same ride.
It's literally the exact same ride. But I will say, every time I've gone on Primeval Whirl, I always laugh the whole time because it feels like you're gonna die.
Yeah. Yeah. And you have to laugh.
That's the point, that That's why Disney's closing it, because they don't want you to actually die on the ride.
Yes.
Probably.
All right. Well, Emily, why don't you go ahead and give us a history fact?
Okay. Today's history is about Dumbo, and I feel like we don't talk about Dumbo nearly enough on our podcast. So, did y'all know that Dumbo is actually the shortest feature length Disney movie, and it is only 64 minutes long?
Really?
Wow, I've never noticed.
Yep.
Me either.
And apparently, whenever it was being made, Walt was actually advised by some of his peers that he needed to make the movie longer because wouldn't do well being that short. And he told them, quote, "You can stretch a story just so far, and after that, it won't hold together." So he thought Dumbo was fine just the way it was.
I mean, technically, a feature length film is 45 minutes or longer. So, I mean, that's all you have to worry about is hitting that 45-minute mark.
Yeah, and it meets the requirements. And I don't think we needed any more of Dumbo because Dumbo is sad.
Yeah, and I mean, what are you gonna do? Just watch Dumbo grow up and not say anything for the rest of the movie?
Exactly. Feel like it's the perfect length, short and sweet.
I like that movie. It's so cute.
I like it too, but it is sad.
It is sad, but it seems like most Disney movies are, or have some sad feature to it, but then they're happy in the end. Most of them.
Yeah.
Most of them.
For this week's tip, I want to talk about the masks requirement for the Disney parks, specifically for Disney World. And then I'm guessing whenever Disneyland opens, they'll keep the same requirements for their park as well. Masks are required for everyone 2 and up, and they have to be worn at all times except while dining or while swimming. You can remove it while eating and drinking throughout the park, but you have to remain still. This is a new change to the mask requirement. It just changed this week. So no more loophole with walking around with something in your hand to eat and getting away with not wearing a mask. They
Yeah.
kind of fixed that one.
And if you're doing that, let's just go ahead and call you out. You're being inconsiderate. If
Right.
you're
It's
like if you're legitimately drinking or eating, I can see that. But if you're just walking around with something in your hand, pretending like you're eating or drinking with your face mask off, you're inconsiderate. We don't need you at the parks.
well, I've seen a lot of people saying they don't really want to wear masks and they'll just kind of eat, munch on something all day long so they don't really have to wear it. So I'm glad Disney fixed that loophole.
Yeah.
Honestly, though, when I'm at Disney, I'm munching on something most of the day.
Well, now you're not going to be doing that and walking around.
Yeah.
You're going to have to be still. So the masks have to be 2-ply or more. They have to fully cover your nose and your mouth, and they have to secure under your chin. They have to fit snug on your face, and they have to be either loops over your ears or a tie in the back so that your hands can be free. They aren't allowing the neck gaiters, the open chin triangle bandanas, or costume masks, which isn't a change. They always don't let you wear costume masks.
Yeah, I saw a lot of people kind of upset that they weren't allowing neck gaiters because a bunch of people actually like cut holes for the ears in their neck gaiters so that it would like hook over their ears, and they still wouldn't let them wear them into the parks. And I've heard those are really comfortable in Florida because they're really breathable. That's what they're made for, is being outdoors in the hot, humid summer.
Yeah, but I
Right.
don't think they're 2 layers.
They're not. And that was what the problem was. They're not good enough to keep the particles from passing in and out.
I'd seen some people with filters, ones that have filters in them, actually.
Oh, that's interesting. I didn't know about those.
So I
Yeah,
think that you can probably get away with having like a traditional face covering underneath your gaiter. So like if you want to apply cold water to the back of your neck or something like that, it'll keep you cool and keep your neck covered. But I think you have to be able to show that you have an additional mask underneath.
Right.
Yeah.
And at that point, it's kind of overkill, but I mean, I think you could probably just wear the gator around your neck as a cooling device.
Yes, and not over your face. Because
Right.
the issue with wearing the gator over a mask is if the gator is wet, then you're getting your mask all wet, and that's not good. You're not supposed
Right.
to wear wet masks.
Yeah. What I was talking about was just applying the water to the neck area. But yeah,
Right.
you are correct.
But just to specify.
Yeah.
So there are places within each park that are relaxation stations, is what they're calling them, where you can be mask free temporarily. And there's several places in each park. Magic Kingdom has Tomorrowland Terrace, Golden Oak Outpost in Frontierland, and Pete's Silly Sideshow in Fantasyland. Animal Kingdom has Pete's Safari and Up Country Landing, which is in Asia by Up. There's Galaxy's Edge near Rise of the Resistance and Star Wars Launch Bay in Hollywood Studios, and in Epcot outside Yorkshire Country Fish Shop in United Kingdom near Test Track and Mission Space, and Akershus in Norway. And I've heard that they also have like tables set up and chairs so that you can rest, you can have snacks there or whatever, and kind of relax, keep your mask off, and cool down a little bit for a while, which is kind of nice.
Yeah, it's kind of nice just to be able to take your mask off. Like, I have a full beard. If you haven't seen me, if you haven't been on our Facebook or our Instagram or anything like that, I have a full-fledged beard, and it gets very itchy.
I can imagine.
I I don't like wearing face masks for a very long time just because it gets so itchy, but I do wear face masks all the time. So there's that.
So my tip would be to bring extra masks with you into the park. So if you're planning to stay there all day, I would probably bring the mask you're wearing plus an extra 3 or 4 other ones in case they get wet. If it rains and your mask is wet, you want to change it. If it's very hot and you get it a little sweaty, you may want to change it. Um, Having the fresh mask will make you feel better, I think, and it's probably a good idea just to carry some with you. I would also recommend bringing enough for the next day so that you can wash the ones you wore to the park that day overnight, wear fresh ones the next day, and then you can alternate each day like that.
Yeah, that's a very good tip as well.
I agree.
All right, well, let's go ahead and get into our segment. Our segment this week is going to be hero or villain, and I selected Maui from Moana. What are your first thoughts on Maui?
I really think that he is a hero, but he didn't always necessarily go about it being the right way, I guess. Like, he was trying to make humans happy and do good things for them by stealing the heart of Te Fiti, but that's not the way it worked out. But in the end, he did bring it back and gave it back to her. So I do think he's a hero.
Yeah, I love Maui. I definitely think he's a hero. He's just a very arrogant hero. Like
Yes.
he has his selfish like arrogant moments. He gets too full of himself because, he's a demigod.
And he lets you
Yeah.
know it.
Yeah.
He let you know.
So
He's kind of a
definitely-
narcissist.
Yeah, and he's definitely made bad decisions, but the whole, you see him evolve as the movie goes on, and he comes to realize that he wants to do good and not hurt people.
Yeah, I think that Maui's a little bit tougher for me to really designate one or the other. Mostly because I think he is a villain at the beginning of the movie. If you think about it, he stole the heart of Te Fiti for his own personal gain, to get in the good graces of humans. I know that it would have helped humans, but he did it for his own selfish desires, right? He tried to strand Moana on an island where she would inevitably die if she wasn't smart enough to get out of the cave. So he starts as a villain for me. He does a lot of growing throughout the film, and I think he does end up being a hero just because he understands how the human world works a little bit better and understands how he can help them a lot better than how he was going about doing it to begin with. So yeah, I kind of think he's a little bit of both.
That's fair. I can see that. I
And
agree that at the beginning of the movie, he started out pretty villainous.
yeah, so I would say beginning of the movie, he is villain. End of the movie, he's a hero. And it's hard for me because I don't want to do these and, just come out and be like, oh, they're a little bit of both and just kind of sweep it under the
That's
rug.
what you always say.
Yeah, I know. But Maui is just one of those characters that I can't legitimately say that he is either.
But at the end of the day, where he is right now, what would you say? Right now.
I would say hero if we're talking about the end of the
Exactly.
movie. Yeah.
Yes.
But I
And
mean,
that's
I could say that for a lot of people too, though.
right. But that's where you don't want to be judged by what you were before. You want to be judged by what you currently are, if you're going to be judged, I
Yeah.
guess.
And
So
that's fair.
at the end of the movie, what do you feel about him?
At the end of the movie, I feel like he's a hero.
Then he's a hero.
But, whatever.
That's what I say, my rules. That's it.
Yep.
He's a hero.
Yep. Okay, so we did ask Facebook, kind of their thoughts. There is one response that we got that I really want to bring up. This came from, and I'm sorry if I screw this name up. This came from Sylvia Nabal, and she said, in the beginning of the movie, I think villain, which, thank you, I agree. But what I love about this movie is that they showed why he was the way he was, and they told his childhood story. It actually happens sometimes. Many people become more or less, quote unquote, evil because of their unhappy past or childhood. This story is magical because it has the happy ending, and Maui for sure is a hero at the end. So that's pretty much spot on. And I really wanted to talk about this comment specifically because it does bring up his past and his childhood and how he was kind of neglected and told that he wasn't enough, and kind of shows why he was acting the way he did at the beginning of the movie.
Did everybody pretty much think that he was a hero, or were there any villain votes?
For the most part, it was kind of everybody thought he was hero. Some people said a bit of an anti-hero, which I kind of agree with to some degree, but not 100%. A lot of people said both, just kind of villain, kind of hero. But it does seem like most people said that he was a hero.
Okay, just curious.
Welcome to the game show within a podcast. This is a trivia portion of the show. I have a question for Amanda and Emily. We're going to see how well they know their Disney. You guys ready to play?
Go for it.
Yep.
Okay. I think I have you stumped this week, and I'm very excited. What is the name of the pig in Gravity Falls?
Who watches Gravity Falls?
I watch Gravity Falls. There's a big fan base for Gravity Falls, so
Okay, that's
mind
not a
your
Disney
tongue.
movie. Okay, give us some multiple choice.
Okay. There are 4 multiple choices. Is it Whittles, Wobbles, Waddles, or Weebles?
I'm gonna go with Whittles.
Amanda's going with Whittles. A?
Um, I would say Weebles. Was that an option?
It
Yes.
was an option.
Okay, just making sure. But I don't watch Gravity Falls, so you definitely got us this week, just from our lack of knowledge of Gravity Falls.
You should watch Gravity Falls because it is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay, you can tell us the answer.
Is that your final answers?
Yeah.
Whittles.
The correct answer is neither of those.
Mm.
Is it Wobbles?
It's Waddles.
Waddles. Okay.
Cute name.
So, for those of you who have not watched Gravity Falls, looking at you, Amanda and Emily, you need to watch it as soon as you possibly can because it is a great show.
Okay.
I'll get right on that.
You should. It's on, I know it's on Hulu. I think it's on Disney Plus. I could be wrong.
I'll check it out.
All right, well, let's go ahead and get into our main topic. Our main topic is going to be our own imaginations of retheming attractions within Disney parks. We kind of decided to go with like 2 or 3 different attractions for each of us. Let's go ahead and get into the first one. Who wants to go first?
I'll go first.
Okay. Amanda, what's your first one then?
Jared, you're gonna love this one. I want to change Tower of Terror.
Are you
What?
serious?
I'm totally kidding.
Okay.
I just had to do that to you.
Okay. My heart almost stopped. I almost lost a sister today.
You know I had to joke with you.
All right. Well, what's your real first one?
My real first one is Rock and Roller Coaster.
Oh, very fun. This one is actually on my list too.
Y'all are crazy.
Okay, I've seen some people mention on Facebook and stuff about changing it to Monsters Inc., which I think would be super cute. But my idea would be to make it a Cars ride. So you could get onto Lightning McQueen, maybe,
Okay.
and you are in one of the races with Lightning trying to win the Piston Cup.
That'd be pretty
I could
cool.
see that.
And they
Yeah,
do
I
have the Cars section right there next to Rock and Roller Coaster as well.
Yeah.
That is true. I disagree, but
I mean, really, why is Aerosmith there? He's not Disney.
I don't know, but I like it and I'm fine with it.
It's still the same ride. It's just different theming.
But then you're going to have different music and you're not going to have that pre-show where they're like, make it a stretch or a super stretch or whatever. You know, the thing that everyone says along with it.
No,
Yeah.
I know,
Take all
but
that
you
away.
yes, you can. You can have another saying there. There could be another reason that you're going into the ride, and then you can do the "Life is a Highway" song whenever you're taking off and throughout the ride. It fits
Yeah,
perfectly.
I mean, I think it would be fun, but I really like the Aerosmith Rock and Roller Coaster.
Okay, so I agree with you, Emily. I do like the Aerosmith Rock and Roller Coaster, but I do agree with Amanda. It's not Disney themed.
No, it's not.
It seems just kind of misplaced.
Tower of Terror isn't Disney themed either, Jared.
But it is Twilight Zone, so it's kind of related to some degree.
Okay.
The the retheme that I had for Rock and Roller Coaster is a little bit different. I decided to go with something Marvel themed, and I have two different pitches for this. The first one is Avengers. I think it would be really fun to have an Avengers theme on the roller coaster, and it's something that uh, you can make the theme around like flying through the city, right? Like maybe with Iron Man or Spider Man or somebody. I know that it's getting into some issues with Universal, and Disney can't really put the Marvel superheroes in the park, but this is my own retheming. It's never going to happen, but it's what I would want to see. So I think it would be really fun. Like if it was like with Iron Man or Spider Man or somebody else on the Avengers team. Maybe the Hulk. Hulk would be really fun, but I know that Universal has the Hulk ride as well. So, uh, what do you think about that? The first option here.
I think it's a good idea, but if you're gonna retheme Rock and Roller Coaster, which I don't want to happen, I would ride a Cars ride. Just because, just because I know this isn't a competition, but
It's better.
yeah, well, that and also I'm just not like, I mean, I like Marvel. I don't have anything against it, but I like Disney and Disney Pixar stuff better.
That's fair. Okay, well, my second one then is maybe you go with an Ant-Man theme. And the reason I say Ant-Man is because maybe it's one of those heroes that, Universal isn't going to have that much of a problem with, so maybe they could end up having it at some point. And if you think about it, the right off the bat, the launch, it could work very well for the shrink, like shrinking you down, going through the shrink ray, and then sending you off into whatever adventure may come.
I could see that one. I kind of like that one. I think that one fits better than the Avengers one.
I don't know. I like the Avengers one, but I think they could both work. But I think that with the Avengers one, you already have the city built in, right? So you just change the actual cars into something that would fit a Marvel theme.
Yeah, I can see that too.
I feel like it's a good idea.
Okay, well, Emily, what's your first one then?
It's really hard for me to pick one to start with, but I guess I'll go with the one that is going to make the most impact and hit Jared the hardest.
Oh, Jesus. I might lose two sisters tonight.
And I am not joking about this one, but hear me out. I'm going with Journey into Imagination.
Oh, no. Why?
Okay, because
It's outdated.
yes, and the thing is, I actually do enjoy the ride, mostly because there's never a wait and it's air conditioned, so you can go sit down and cool off on a ride, and it has that awful like skunk smell during the ride, and I really hate that part of it. And then also, I don't know if you've noticed, I'm sure you have, I'm sure everyone has, if you like, it doesn't have the Disney theming to me like all the way through. Like if you turn around and face like the opposite way of where you're supposed to be looking while the ride's going on, it's just like a blank black wall behind you. And to me, that doesn't fit with the Disney theming, so we're going to retheme it.
I'm going to stop you right there.
Okay.
And I'm going to say this. It does fit this Disney theme to have a black wall behind you, and I'll tell you why. It's because using your imagination, you're always looking forward. You're never looking behind.
Well, I looked behind me.
Wow.
And I noticed that Disney's really lacking in the theming department on Journey into Imagination. But I had never ridden like the original Journey into Imagination ride, but I've heard people who like love Figment always talk about how amazing the original ride was and how they wish that they would just bring the original back. But that's not my idea, obviously. My idea is to retheme it as a Monsters Inc. ride because I feel like Monsters, like you could still it still works with the like imagination pavilion area, because monsters are a figment of your imagination.
Right?
And see what I did there? Figment of your imagination.
I don't like it.
You
Move
can
on.
still
I like it. Keep
I
going.
like it
Keep
too.
going.
And I mean, it's just like I feel like you can go actually in Disneyland, they do have a Monsters Inc. ride, and I kind of like it's kind of the same sort of like slower moving vehicle where it takes you through scenes. And so I feel like they could do something with that. And there's just so many like bright colors and like I feel like you could have the door room, the room with all the doors, and you could just keep that really like bright, colorful theme, and it would be a lot better. And it would be a Disney movie that people like. And I like Figment. I don't have anything against him. I really don't.
I'm gonna tell you the problem that I have with retheming Journey into the Imagination. First, you're getting rid of Figment.
Uh-huh.
That's the only place where Figment is in the parks, right?
Right.
So that character would be going away completely in Epcot
Yeah.
and in
See you later.
all parks. The problem that I have beyond that is that is
Mhm.
the only place where Robin Williams is in the parks.
Okay. But you can't
He is
hold on to
still
that.
there. He is still up on the wall. He is still one of my favorite people of all time, and I don't want to see him go away either.
Well, you can't hold on to things forever, Jared.
I
Sometimes
can.
things need to change, and I feel like Figment needs a retheme. Think about how much like not wasted space, but kind of that is. Like that doesn't draw any people over to it at all.
You're right. It's kind of like the Dino Land in Animal
Yeah,
Kingdom.
it really is.
Uh, Again, I'm going to disagree, but go ahead.
And there's also that like the area whenever you come off of the ride where like you can do some imagination things.
They
And I
don't
feel
really
like,
have that there anymore.
well, last time I went, they did, but it was very, very lacking. And I feel like they could do something really cool with that as far as like the Monsters Inc. theme goes as well.
Yeah, that's where we met Vanellope last time, but there was nothing else. There was none of the imagination stuff there anymore. It was just Vanellope there.
Well, they do have a couple things that have like the music stuff that's
Hmm.
there, but
Yeah,
Oh,
that's what
I
they had
didn't see
last
that.
time. You
you
could
literally had
also
to walk
like,
through that to get to Vanellope.
Mm.
yeah, and there
It's
was
right after
something
you get off the ride.
There was something with computer screens too, where like I think you could like create your own figment or something like that. And there were computers set up where you could go and do that, which you could still do something like that and like maybe create your own door. And then they could even have an area where you like tell jokes for your laugh thing to fill up and make it like interactive like that with the Monsters Inc. theme.
Yeah, that's the last thing we need is 3-year-olds telling us jokes.
Oh, you didn't like that when you were here last week, Jared?
Just the understanding of how the joke structure works. They don't quite get it yet.
They
So
do not.
Well, my next one is another one in Hollywood Studios. It's actually the Little Mermaid show there.
I forgot about the Little Mermaid show.
Yes, while I do like that show, it's been there for a long time, and that theater kind of needs
a
a
revamp.
rework.
Yeah.
Yes, it's a little musty in there.
Yeah.
So I think that they should do a different show there, and it should be Coco.
Oh, I love that.
It would be great with the black lights and everything there. You could have Coco put on a concert. I mean, the whole movie is about, okay, it's not necessarily about, but it's a singing movie, and he sings a lot in the movie. And I just think you could do so much with a little concert in there with all the black lights and everything. I think it would be awesome.
Well, I mean, it is a movie about him wanting to be a musician, so I would say that
Yes,
is the driving structure of the film is that he wants to be a musician and is trying to find his link to music.
true.
I definitely
Go ahead.
like that idea. I do think it really works well with the black lights.
I really like that idea as well, and I think I really want Coco in the park somewhere, and I wanted it in the Mexico Pavilion. I think that would be a great ride refurb. But if we're not going to get that, I really think Amanda's idea is good too.
I think even if they did redo the Mexico Pavilion for Coco, I think you could still have the show in Hollywood Studios too.
That is true. You could, because right now they have the Little Mermaid show in Hollywood Studios and they also have the ride at Magic Kingdom. So you could have both.
Right.
Yep.
You also have the Frozen sing along in Hollywood Studios and Frozen Ever After in Epcot.
Good
So
point.
it could work having both of them.
Yeah, I think it could work definitely, and I think this is a really good time to bring up Ryan at Parkeneer on YouTube. He designed Coco as a retheme for the Mexican Pavilion, and I think it came out really well.
I absolutely love the designs he did for that. I think that would be fantastic and wish Disney would go ahead and pick that up and start working on it.
Yeah, I mean, again, we might find out that Disney has been working on it for a couple years after the retheme for Splash Mountain came out, but uh, yeah, I really think that it would work well. I do really want to see Coco have some kind of attraction in the parks.
Me
Me
too. I
too.
feel like it's a missed opportunity if they don't.
Yeah, because I mean, that ride is an older ride and it feels very small worldish, and I think it needs a revamp for sure.
Definitely. And that will draw people to it, having it as Coco.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, the Mexico Pavilion is one of my favorite pavilions because of like how neat the inside is and the fact that there is a ride that goes through that area. And I enjoy the ride because of the scenery, but I think it just needs something more special.
Yeah. And
yeah,
this
and
would definitely be special.
I
Yeah.
think Coco adds that. So I mean, you talk about there's not really anything that's drawing people over to that ride, that area. And for the most part, that ride is a walk on. Like you might have to wait 1 or 2 minutes, but it's
Yeah.
typically a walk on.
Right.
So just people aren't going to it. But I don't know. I would like to see it rethemed. And I also do like the Little Mermaid retheme that you came up with.
Me too.
So I'm going to go ahead and talk about my second one. And I think I'm going to get a little bit of backlash from this. Um, I want to change the tiki room.
Okay. Honestly, I'm not too mad about that. I don't find myself going in the tiki room, and I have heard that the tiki room at Disneyland is like a billion times better than the one at Disney World, but I didn't have time to go while I was there. But that's what I've heard. So I'm not mad at it, but I'd like to know what you're going to do.
I was thinking that we change it to the Heart of Tafiti room.
Wow, I
Hmm.
love it.
Just on
Let's
name
do it.
alone, you love it.
Let's do it right now.
It has nothing to do with Moana, by the way. Let's do it. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I just think that Moana needs a place. And I think that the Tiki Room could be her place, or at least one of them. There would have to be a lot that goes into it, but I don't think that it would be nearly as hard to do. All you would need to get obviously more puppets, more animatronics in there that fit the Moana theme. But what if I didn't really get as far as I wanted to with this one? All I knew is I wanted it to be the Heart of Tafiti room, and I wanted it to be Moana themed, and it just needed a revamp. So, what do you guys think? It could
I
really be Moana talking about the Heart of Tafiti.
I think it would be really great because they could still incorporate a lot of the music from Moana, just like they have music in the Tiki Room. And I think it would be really cool. And I also feel like it fits with the theme of the area.
Yeah, I
I
think
agree
so
with
too.
that. Now, I'm not disagreeing that the Tiki Room needs a revamp, but my only disappointment, I guess, is Moana is going in Epcot, but it's more like a meet and greet type area, is all. And so having this as her second place, I just feel like she needs a little more. I would rather see like a ride or something. And this isn't necessarily one of my revamps that I was thinking of, but while we were discussing this, I thought, wouldn't it be cool if like Cali River Rapids was changed to a Moana ride?
Yeah, I had thought about that one. And I also like my next one that I was going to talk about was actually a Moana one, and it was changing the Nemo ride. The what is that ride called? The Seas of Nemo and Friends.
Yeah.
I was thinking they could change that into a Moana ride. And you know how they're in the little clamshells? All of the clamshells could be sailboats instead. And I mean, you can still go through the seas and have like the animals, the sea life, and the water and all of that. And I feel like it would fit perfectly there.
Yeah, I can see that one too. I just feel like she needs a ride and not just two show type
Yeah,
things.
that's what I thought too.
I agree that she needs a ride, but I do like the Heart of Tafiti room.
I do too.
I
I feel like it could be
yeah.
really
You know what? What
dramatic.
about this? What about since you're surrounding the center of the room? What if it's that Maui takes the Heart of Tafiti? We have the lava monster, and then Moana returns it, and it's all themed around in the center.
Oh, I was figuring that's how it was going to be anyway.
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously because of the tea room is designed that
Yeah.
way, but I mean, what we have in the center is Tafiti.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not saying I don't like your idea. I do think it's a great idea. I just really I can't see them having three Moana things, and I really want her to have a ride.
That's fair.
That was all. So my third one is more of a retheme of a whole area and not necessarily one attraction.
Okay, and I do know what you're about to talk about, and I'm very
Yes.
excited.
So Jared and I were kind of brainstorming. He stayed with me last week with my family, and we kind of brainstormed about this together. So there are some elements of both of us in our retheme. And my idea is to retheme the whole Frontierland in Magic Kingdom to be a New Orleans Square area, since they're retheming Splash Mountain to Princess and the Frog. I think they should just go ahead and retheme that whole area and make it New Orleans, because Princess and the Frog doesn't fit into Frontierland.
Yeah, I agree with that. I do think that that whole area with the Princess and the Frog being like the big attraction there could use a retheme to match it a lot better. We talked about the Big Thunder Mountain and how that would be applied. Like, what could we do with that to make it feel a little bit more like New Orleans, Louisiana, something, along the swamps instead of a mountain.
Right.
And I came up with the idea of the Rescuers. So the Rescuers are set in Louisiana, and you could change the train into the sardine cans, and you could fly around, and it would be really fun. It'd be a fun retheme, I think.
I think so too. I think it fits.
Emily, what do you think? What are your thoughts on this?
I give this a big thumbs down.
Why?
The whole thing or just this one
The
ride?
whole thing.
Why?
Okay.
Because I love Frontierland and it's my favorite.
But
But
it's
I do
already
agree.
changing.
I know, I agree. Princess and the Frog does not fit whatsoever, like, period, at all. I think that Princess and the Frog should have been put somewhere else because I don't think it works there. So it all starts with that and me being disappointed about it going in that location because I love
But
Frontierland the way it is.
with our retheme idea, we do get a beignets kiosk.
Mm-hmm.
Do. I also think Country Bear Jamboree is way outdated. It needs
Yeah.
to go.
Yeah.
It verges on racist. So it probably needs to go. That is in the same building as Pecos Bills. They're connected.
I
And
like Pecos Bills.
I do too. But to retheme it to make it New Orleans, my idea is to make that a sit down restaurant, and that's going to be Tiana's restaurant. So you're going to serve gumbo and you're going to serve seafood and other New Orleans, Louisiana food in that area. Inside the restaurant, you're going to have a stage, and Louis is going to, his band is going to play there. And Tiana and Naveen will be characters that come through the restaurant.
Yeah, kind of like a character meet.
It'll be a character meal,
Yeah.
a character dining experience.
Yeah, see, I don't dislike this idea. I just dislike the location of it because Frontierland to me is like Disney. I don't, it's just my favorite place for some reason. So it saddens me to think of it changing.
And I don't disagree with that, but with what they've already announced is going to happen, I would rather the whole area fit than have
Just one
yes.
one attraction stick out as, oh, why is this here? Because it doesn't fit.
Right. I also think that whole area, it kind of makes a loop around, like the one at Disney World. There's a big loop around. So I thought, the characters could come out and do like a little parade, not necessarily a parade, but it could be kind of like their caravans they're doing now, but they can do it as a Mardi Gras parade and kind of come out and kind of throw beads out to the kids and stuff. I just think that'd be really cute.
Yeah,
And
that'd
it
be
doesn't have to
fun.
yeah, it doesn't have to be at a set time, so it's still kind of a random thing, and just every once in a while they come out, throw beads, and then go back.
Yeah, I do really like the Mardi Gras parade idea. And it's a place where you can put Lottie and her father in as the king and the princess of Mardi Gras.
True too. That'd be cute.
I like the idea. Obviously, Emily doesn't, but I like the idea. I thought we really did a good job with the retheme.
I thought so too.
Most of it
Now,
was
Jared,
Amanda. So,
didn't you mention something else about masks?
oh yeah, the mask wall.
Yes.
So the mask wall would be at the entrance. And if you're wondering what I'm talking about, a mask wall, think about the masks from The Princess and the Frog and how they were the vessels for the friends on the other side. And they can talk about, welcome to New Orleans, and they can kind of have like a voodoo style theme. And it's something that you can interact with while you're entering into the area. I think it would be really fun.
That'd be pretty cool. I actually like that idea.
One thing Em likes.
Yep. I mean, I still don't like it for Frontierland,
Yeah.
but put it somewhere else and we'll be good.
And even if the whole area doesn't change, it could just be something that they put at the ride where Splash Mountain is now. Just kind of as you're entering into that area, you can walk across this wall and interact with the masks.
Yeah.
But I do like it at the entrance, and I do like it for like a full retheme of the area.
Me too.
I mean, come
And
on, beignets.
I know that would be fantastic. And they also have the riverboat that goes around there too.
Yeah,
So that kind of fits in with the New Orleans theme too.
it does.
Sorry, Em.
All right, and what's your next one?
Okay, so my last one is Small World. And this is only the Disney World Small World because Disneyland is the original, like, World's Fair, Walt's Small World. And I think that one has to stay no matter what. I feel like that's like a piece of history. So
That's
that
fair.
one can't go anywhere. But Disney World is just a copycat and it's not even as good of a copycat. So I'm fine with losing it.
Yeah, it's a shorter
So,
ride than Disneyland, correct?
Right.
yes. And I feel like, so it's in Fantasyland, right?
Right.
I think that we could put a Maleficent ride there. And so, well, it's kind of like a Sleeping Beauty slash Maleficent ride. So I guess it's like, both of them. So it would start out like a trip through the forest, and you're like going through like a river in the forest. And it's all like magical and pretty and green and beautiful. And you see Aurora and the fairies and all of them. And then it takes like a dark, Maleficent turn. And so it would be like kind of half like a pretty magical ride and then half like kind of like a scary, not scary, it's Disney, but kind of like a
No, I'm
darker
into scary.
turn.
I'm into scary. Let's go scary.
So it's a dark ride basically,
Yeah.
but on water
But on
instead
water.
of.
Yes, exactly. And I feel like it fits with, that area has a lot of dark rides and I feel like a lot of like princess things and I think it would fit there. And Maleficent has, I mean, a lot of the villains don't really have a huge presence in the parks, but I feel like Maleficent is like a fan favorite, so she should.
Yeah. And I think
Yeah.
that's one of the reasons why they have the big Maleficent dragon in the parade
Mm-hmm.
is because it is a fan favorite and it's such great imagery that people just love it. People love Maleficent and there's good reason why.
Yeah.
I do like your idea, Em. I think that actually could really work.
I think so too. And I mean, if you want to ride Small World, you can go to Disneyland and ride the better one.
And Sleeping Beauty doesn't really have a presence really anywhere except her castles at Disneyland.
I know.
So I really think they're missing out on putting her into the parks.
I know. I felt the same way. So I was thinking like a ride that's like represents both of them would be good.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I don't like Small World anyway, so
I know.
get it out of here.
It's it's a little bit repetitive and really
It really
gets
is.
to you.
Yeah, for sure. I do like that retheme. Good job, Em.
Thanks.
And what about your last one?
My last one is going to shock and amaze everyone. I want a retheme Tower of Terror.
No, you don't.
I do. Tower of Terror, as we know it, is no more. My retheme idea is Super Duper Tower of Terror. So I want to
my
add more
gosh.
ghosts. I want to add a scarier opening. I just want it to be a lot scarier.
This is still Disney.
It's
It
still
is.
the same ride. This is not a
No.
reimagining.
Nope. It is a retheme.
This isn't.
It is a
You have
retheme.
totally missed the point of the
Nope.
whole exercise.
Nope. This is what I'm going with. It's Super Duper Tower of Terror. And I want to add ghosts into the lobby. And I want to add, think about the lobby itself. Okay. It's gritty. It's dirty. but it's just a lobby, a hotel lobby with cobwebs, right?
So behind the little desk, the little desk, like the reception desk, that's what it's
Yeah.
called. A ghost receptionist pops up and then
Yeah.
disappears.
Yes.
Stuff like that.
Like stuff like that. Like a lot of the Pepper's Ghost type stuff that we see in Haunted Mansion could be put into effect in the lobby.
I could see it.
Okay.
It's
and
not
then,
a re-theme, but
No, it's a re-theme because now it's Super Duper Tower of Terror. So
No.
I want to take out the beginning video and make it into a creepier story.
They are never, ever in 100 million years ever going to go for this. You know this, right?
They might. You never know. So I want it to, I don't know, like whenever you get up into the actual drop shaft, right? There is every now and then a little child that shows up or somebody shows up as a projection on the ride as you drop, right? Do you know what I'm talking about? You're looking at me like you don't know what I'm talking about.
I do not know what you're talking about. You're talking about actually once you move forward into the actual part where you're dropping.
Yes.
I've never noticed a child or a little ghost in there ever.
It is while you're dropping. Like whenever you come down and then it pauses for a minute to send you back up, there is one specific piece that you don't get every time. And it's like a child that is projected onto the wall.
I don't know if I've ever noticed that.
Me either.
Like I said, it doesn't happen every time. It's very random.
Actually seeing a real ghost.
Yeah.
Maybe. Well, then they need to hire this ghost and make more appearances because it's really fun. And I want to add like more stuff like that.
Because then it wouldn't be necessarily random because if you're seeing it all the time.
But it could be just a random projection. Like it could be something different.
Ooh, like all of a sudden you look over at the person that you're riding the ride with and now they're a ghost.
And now it's Ezra from Haunted Mansion.
It would be kind of cool though if like they could project some ghosts into the vehicle in like the empty seats while you're riding.
Well, there's never empty seats.
Okay, but that's what I'm saying. They leave like seats for the ghost.
So if they could make people disappear.
Let's turn it into a magic ride. Everybody disappears. Nobody ever comes back. You can only ride this ride once.
Yeah.
I'm here for making it scarier. It's not a re-theme, but I'm all for it.
It's not a re-theme.
I'm disappointed in this re-theme idea.
No, I thought that we just definitely nailed all the other ones. I was going to just have some fun with it. So, Super Duper Tower of Terror. I'm in.
Okay.
Let's do it.
I don't think they'll ever do it because they're eliminating a lot of the children who may ride this ride. You don't want to terrify them so much that they're never going to come back to Disney or ride the ride.
See, here's where I'm going to disagree with you. I do want to make it where the small kids can't go on because if the small kids can't go on, that means their parents can't go on. And if their parents can't go on, that means shorter lines. And that means that I can ride it a lot more often.
I didn't say you didn't want the kids to go on. I said Disney doesn't want the kids to go on. Or wants the kids to go on. Let me rephrase that. Disney wants the kids to go on. You don't.
I have a name for your re-theme.
Oh, God.
What is it?
It's Tower of Total Terror.
There we go.
Yep. It just adds a little extra terror, you know.
Yeah. I mean, it adds the total amount.
Quit feeding into his delusions.
I love it. We did it.
Yep.
Horrible idea. Horrible. I don't like it.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and move on. Let us know on social media at T3M Podcast and let us know what you thought about our re-themes and give us your own re-themes if you want. Let's go ahead and get into some mousekeeping. First order of business, I do want to promote yet again. We are going to be starting a YouTube live session. We already have a YouTube, but it's mostly just stuff that you can find on our RSS feed for the podcast already. So the podcast itself is on YouTube, but we're going to be doing some videos and having some fun with it, and just kind of talking about general Disney stuff. You can find our YouTube at bit.ly/T3M YouTube, all lowercase. I do want to mention real quick that we are out of reviews. So if you want to send us a written review, please do so, and we'll read it on an upcoming episode. This week, we do have a promo that we would like to play for you, and this is for the Vacation Podcast with Character. Let's listen to that.
Hey everyone, I'm Kelly.
And I'm Rachel.
And we host the Vacation Podcast with Character.
Each week, we take a character you know and love and plan their dream trip to Walt Disney World. We plan everything from their resort stay, ticket purchases, dining reservations, and attraction plans.
Where do you think Ursula would stay on her vacation? Where would Anna and Elsa like to eat? Which rides would Donald Duck take his nephew on?
We consider all factors as we plan these dream trips. The Vacation Podcast with Character has something for everyone, whether you're interested in planning a trip for yourself or just want to imagine along with us.
So we hope you'll come join us on the Vacation Podcast with Character for our next vacation.
Bye!
Bye!
That sounds like a really fun podcast. I suggest you all go and take a listen.
I'm definitely going to have to check that one out.
I know, me too. It seems really unique and fun.
When you're ready to start traveling again and you need a fabulous travel agent to set up all of your plans, contact me, Amanda Hollis at Capture the Magic Vacations. I would love to help you plan as little or as much of your trip as you'd like. My services are free. Contact me today. You can find all of my information in the show notes.
Join us on our next episode where we will be talking about fan theories for Aladdin. That episode will be releasing on August 6th, and be sure you're subscribed to our podcast so you're notified when we release every episode.
Okay, well, that's going to do it for us this week. Thank you all for listening. You can also be a part of the magic by following the show at T3M Podcast on all social media platforms. That's T3M Podcast. Leave us a 5-star written review and we'll read it on an upcoming episode. If you have an announcement that you would like to have on the show or just want to reach out to us, send us an email at t3mpodcast@gmail.com.
Have a zippity-doo-dah day.
See you real soon.